to Morgan. Courtney, it is great to see you. Christine, so good to see you as well. Gary, it's great to see you. Today, we're going to be talking all about creating 100K in 8-hour work weeks. So if you guys have not done one of these webinars before, I would love to learn about more about you and who you help. And if you want to put that in the chat, that would be phenomenal. So go ahead and put your name, who you help in the chat, and we're going to go ahead and get started in just a
Megan, can you hear me?
Tricia, thank you so much for unmuting. I
Yeah,
just saw your comment. I switched
yeah,
the mic over. Can you guys hear me now?
brilliant. We can hear you.
Well,
I can
amazing.
hear
Okay. Well, we're going to restart this
you.
bad boy.
Brilliant.
Thank you, friends. Can everyone else hear me now? Okay, great. I'm seeing some nods. Great. Well, tonight, if you couldn't hear me already, I was celebrating everyone that was coming on. So we're going to be talking about what are the six-figure systems? How do you actually scale to 100K by only working 8 hours a week? So I was just sharing about everyone who is here tonight. And I want to talk to you about why this webinar is an amazing place for you to be finishing up this year. So if you are ready to scale to 100K, this is the perfect webinar for you because you are going to get clarity on exactly what to do to hit 100K. I know when I was first starting my business, I was so focused on hitting those revenue goals. I really wanted to make sure I hit six figures. And I had no idea where to start. And like many of you, I felt like I was doing a lot of work and I really didn't have the income to show for it. So I'm going to tell you why you don't have the income to maybe reflect all the effort that you're putting in. We're also going to talk about how to create more demand. If you are like, I am an amazing, I know that I can coach people and I want to bring in more consults, but I have no idea where the people are for my offer. And it just feels like you're posting to the ether. We're going to talk about what you need to do to create more demand with your offer tonight. Then, if you have made some money in your business, I know that I got to places where my revenue would plateau and I didn't know why. And I also would figure out why people, and I was like, okay, I've made some progress. I made it to actually 47K part-time. And I was like, what does it actually take to hit six figures full-time? So we're going to talk about all those things tonight. Now, one of the things that I think a lot of people want to know is if you're actually ready to make six figures. So, if you are a person that is really passionate about what you do, it is time. You are ready to make six figures with your business. And if you're passionate and ready and dedicated to your cause, it is time for you to start making more money with your business. This is also for you if you're feeling committed, if you're ready to get to work to make your business work for you. Most of my clients are probably like you and are very ambitious, hard workers, ready to do the work, but you don't know what work to do. So this is a great place to be in if you're ready to scale. And last but not least, if you're solution oriented, so many people are so eager to get on the right path. You want to do the right things and you want to know exactly what next steps you need to take to get started. This is the perfect time to scale. And tonight we're going to talk about how to do that without getting burnt out and or going another year without growing. So if we have not already met, hello, I am Megan, and I'm the founder of the Six Figure Systems Mastermind. So if you haven't heard of it already, we're definitely going to be talking about it as this webinar goes on. And my job is to help coaches create more impact and income in less time. And one of the things that I have found is that my story is not like many other coaches I've ever heard. I actually founded this group because I figured out exactly what it takes to scale to six figures in my first year full time. And since then, I've actually been able to consistently double my revenue. So, like I mentioned slightly previously before, is I made 47K in my first year part time. And then in my first year full time, I was actually able to make 120K. Then last year, I went from $156,000. And this year, I'm already at $320,000 because I know exactly what it takes to double my revenue every year. And if you are thinking about, okay, what is it going to take for me to double? How am I going to hit six figures? I know that these things are going to help you. And I know that they're going to help you because it hasn't just worked for me, but it's worked for every single client that I've worked with. This is one of my amazing clients, Jocelyn, and she founded the Path to Freedom program, which is her sober curious coaching program. And she has just been working with me for a month and a half now. And within her first month, she was able to make her signature coaching program. She signed three clients. And again, all within the first month that we worked together. So these systems are not things that take a lot of time. You do not need a big audience. You do not need to have 100 people in your DMs. You just need to use these systems to scale. And I want to tell you about these systems tonight. So today we're going to go over the problem, why you haven't been able to hit 100K, and why, if you have been able to hit 100K, why it's taking a lot of time in the back end of your business. Then I'm going to tell you what are the ROI, the return on investment activities you need to be prioritizing in order to scale a simple, scalable, and sustainable business. I think that many people think it takes a lot of things, and there's only three. So we're going to talk about those tonight. Then I'm going to go over my program and the strategy that I teach my clients to help them scale their businesses, not just for this year, but for years into the future. And of course, we're going to do a Q&A. So if you're like, I have not hit six figures and I don't know why, feel free to put this in the message. Feel free to jump in, add in that in your comments in the chat, and I'm going to be answering those at the end. So what is the problem? Who doesn't want a six-figure business, right? It's like all of us, of course, want a six-figure business. But here's what I see the majority of misconceptions my clients are doing and things that I made mistakes on myself is you want to make more in less time. But what happens is you end up doing a lot more work than you need to make six figures. A lot of times when you don't know where clients are coming from, you spend a lot of times on the back end of your business that actually don't generate revenue. So it'll be like web website creation. I'm going to consume content. Let me sign up for another certification. How many times have you been listening to a podcast and you're like, okay, I really should get to work on this, but you don't actually get to work? This is one of the reasons why it's taking you more time to scale to six figures, doing things like ideal client interviews, trying to do a bunch of freebies, free offers. And those are some things that I see taking away from you actually generating revenue in your business. The next thing I see is you posting, but then ghosting. So a lot of times when I sign clients, I'll look at their Instagram history and I'll see a post, like 3 posts in July, and then I'll see a post in September, and then I'll see, oh, we did a webinar in August. And it's so inconsistent that what happens is you aren't able to make more in less time. And what happens is you don't know how to say things that convert people quickly. I remember I would do this too. I would be like, okay, it's Tuesday. What is on the top of my mind? What am I actually going to say to convert a client? And I would post, but it would end up converting people very slowly. And so what happened is I just posted inconsistently, especially in that 47K year. Another thing that happens is I did a lot more, and I've seen a lot of clients doing this too, is you add a bunch of things that don't make you six figures. You might be doing ads, you might be doing podcasts, you might be doing groups, and all these things are lovely, but you're not actually focusing on the things that actually make you six figures. You want to be locked in. If you're ready to scale, you want to be locked in and focus on these things. And this is why I've found that no matter how hard you're working, you can be working all the time. You can be investing as much as you can in programs, but you still can't get clients to consistently come in. And that means that you're not making six figures. So I want you to know that if that's you, no, that is okay. That is where I was at for the first year of my business. And I want you to know that this uphill battle, that struggle is going to stop tonight. Like, we are not going to continue. I do not want you finishing 2024 with a bunch of effort that isn't going anywhere. Moving into 2025, I want to help you just finish this year strong and start next year stronger. So here's something that's really, really important. If anyone on here studies trends and data, 2024 was a year when a lot of things shifted. A lot of times people were using the same strategy to market their business, and they were doing the same kind of things. And what we saw in 2024 is that stopped working. There was a huge shift to start doing high touch point. There was a huge shift to do interactive marketing. There was also people not realizing that they could be inconsistent with their posts, but I've seen so many people plateau this year and even dip in revenue because they were doing old, outdated things. If you're wanting to grow your business from 2024 onward, you have to do things differently. You can't continue to do things the way you used to, and you can't do things the way that used to work for other people. You have to focus on the people that are making money now and focus on the people that are actually doing the things that work. So, what is that? What is the actual solution for you to hit six figures? Is systems. And that is why this topic of this webinar is called Six Figure Systems. Systems are going to allow you to create the shift that you have to create 8-hour work weeks. And I actually got back, like, I think it was a week and a half ago from Africa. I was able to go on a trip with my family. We were able to go on a safari. That's me and my fiance Rob with an elephant. It was a phenomenal trip. And I want you to know that you can still have a six-figure business without having to work all the time. You can go on incredible trips. You can spend time with your family, and you don't have to take a hit with your income, and you don't have to take an impact hit either. When you're thinking about that, you need to have systems in place so that you market effectively, so that you make it statistically inevitable that you succeed and you actually scale to six figures. That was what I did, is I was like, I want to make sure that this business does not fail. There was no out. There was no other option. I wasn't trying to start a new business. It was either continue this or go back to my teaching career. And this is exactly how I went from being a teacher to a six-figure earner just in 1 year. So I want to show you that when you have systems for your marketing, when you are able to get these systems in place, what you're able to do is you're able to get all of your marketing done only using 8 hours a week. So you're able to make sure you use your time really effectively so you can actually scale to six figures. You also will be able to make the income that you need to potentially leave your job. So I don't know, and go ahead and put it in the chat. When you are thinking about your business, I want you to think about the way that you are growing your business. And if you are part-time or full-time, do you mind putting it in the chat? That'd be great. Also, Christine mentioned, can you guys see my screen right now? Super fun. Okay. It was like I saw somebody saying yes, somebody saying no. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen once more, just in case. Christine, how's that? Can you see it now? Okay, great. Awesome. So within your business, I was asking people if you are full time, go ahead and put it in the chat. If you're part time, go ahead and put that in the chat as well. I want to make sure that because for me, when I was scaling my business, I started part time and then I went to full time. So pretty jazzy. I also want you to know that when you have a system for your marketing, you are not going to be confused and frustrated with social media. It's not going to be a battle about what do I post? Who do I post it for? Am I talking about this? Who do I actually say things? You're going to have things that stay consistent, that bring in leads, and you're going to have the confidence to stay consistent without starting a group, without doing a podcast, with doing all these things that I see other people do, without spending money on ads. This is a completely organic system where you don't have to spend a single penny in order to grow your business. And I say this because I used to think it was really hard to hit six figures. This is me in my first year full time or first year part time. And a friend of mine captured this picture and I was done. I was so fed up with my business. I felt like it was so hard to get to six figures. When I was first trying to scale, again, many of you guys might be in this situation where I tried everything under the sun to grow my business. I went 7 months while posting consistently without getting a single consult. And this is the year I was trying to go full time and I was like still trying to leave my job. And I was like, okay, something needs to change because I need to start bringing in some clients or else I can't leave my job. So I know that this might be you as well. I started a random coaching group. So I was like, okay, we're going to do March Mindset Madness. Who knows what result of that it is? Who knows if that actually makes sense? And I started this random group and had people join me. I created a podcast called the Elevate Your Endgame podcast. Feel free to go back and look it up. We did 60 episodes, me and my friend Cam from certification. I also had an empty inbox most days. So I was going into social hoping that because I got certified, because I was posting, that I would just see people that were interested and that they would just come to me. How many times have you guys heard that? Like, just let the people come to you. And it really doesn't work. You have to go out there and make the effort to find them first. But I had no idea. I was thinking I could just bring them in. The more that I posted, the better it would be. And that was not what happened. And I felt like maybe you guys feel like as well, where I felt like I was building the plane as I flew it. It felt like I'm trying to get this business off the ground, and I had no idea what I was actually supposed to be doing to grow my business to six figures. And so most days felt like this. Not great. And then I was able to actually figure out what worked for me to scale to six figures. So this was my first year full part-time. I was at 47K. And then I went in my first year full time to $120,000, which I learned that only 0.2% of coaches actually make six figures in general. So to do that leap in the first year, not so bad. And this is actually my old life coaching clients. I took them all out for coffee. I had them come in, we hung out, and I was able to actually scale my business to 120K just with one-on-one life coaching. And I know you can do that too. And not only do I know that I can do it with a general life coaching business, but I've been able to make $660,000 plus in the past 4 years. So I've only had my business since 2020. Like actually many of my clients, we've had our business for the same amount of time. I actually have some clients who have had their business for way longer than I have. And I know these aren't your average results, but I want this for every single one of you. I know that to have a successful, scalable business, it doesn't take more work. You actually have to keep it simple. You can't just go on and keep adding things that don't work. You have to go through and actually make things simple, streamlined, and of course, systematized. And I want you to know that now, because I've been able to do this, I have been able to travel the world. This is my sweet grandmother. I was able to go to Paris and take her there for a full week. Those are actually some shoes that I bought her, and she is just the sweetest, most amazing lady ever. I am actually making $400,000 this year. So set to bring that in with sales. This is me. I'm a certified through the life coach school. So this is me getting my 100K award from that school. And I still only work 8 hours in the back end of my business. So whether or not you have been able to hit six figures, but these are the exact same systems that I've been able to use, not only to scale to my first six figures, but the things that actually work and have sustained me every single year following. And the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is when you are able to scale your business, let's say you're able to get all these coaching clients. Something that I've seen other people do that my business has not done is I've never dipped in revenue. I've never had a year where I've made less money. And it's because I've used these systems, regardless of whether or not the economy changes, whether or not the algorithm is changing, these systems have still worked. And for me, one of the things that I realized this year was a really amazing year and also a challenging year because I had so many one-on-one clients and I also had three groups going at once. So I was coaching on average like 26 to 30 hours a week. So I was rolling. I was like coaching pretty much all the time. And I've seen so many other coaches get to where I am, start coaching all the time. And then guess what happens? They stop marketing. They actually don't talk to anybody anymore. They don't have a way to generate leads. So what happens is then that's why their business dips. They go through a plateau and or a dip. And I've not been able to dip. I've just kept growing. I've actually doubled this year because of these systems. And I want you to know that if you're like, that really sounds too good to be true, I want you to know that 8 hour work weeks are absolutely possible for you. The back end of your business does not need to be complicated. It needs to be simple and it needs to be focused. So, what do we focus on? You need to have a routine that's implemented with ease and creates consistency without mental drama, not perfection. I'm not saying that you have to do these things absolutely perfectly. I didn't when I hit six figures my first year, but I had a game plan. I had a focus that helped me to scale. And one of the things that I hear for a lot of people is like, okay, if you don't have a lot of time, how can you make this work? If I've got a lot of things going on in the back end of your business or in back end of your business or your life, can this still work for me? And I want you to know that you can. Within the past 4 years, I have gone through a breakup. I've had to move back in with my parents. I have been able to also weather being blocked on social media for a consistent amount of time. That's happened like 3 times. I've been able to create this business even with all that stuff going on. So I know that throughout the course of your business and without over the next 6 months, I am expecting for stuff to happen. I'm expecting stuff to happen with life. I'm expecting stuff to happen in your business. It will probably happen. You're going to even minimal, you'll get sick, you'll go on a vacation. And these are the systems that create consistency instead of having you go through dips and inconsistency. So, what are these skills? Here are the three skills that I would recommend you put in place to create 100K with 8 hour work weeks. The first thing that you need is you need to have a compelling offer. I see so many people when I ask them, "What's your offer?" They're like, "3K for 6 months." And I'm like, "That's great." But no one wants to spend 3K for 6 months of working with you. I love you dearly. You could be the best coach in the world. That's not what they want. They want to hear that you're going to get them results. You need to have what I call a six-figure offer. You want to have a offer in place that stops people scroll that are strangers. You want to be able to be on social media for someone to see a reel randomly pop up. They click on your feed and they're like, oh, this person I want to work with and I want to invest in them that quickly. If that is not something you have in place, that is something I would highly recommend you creating. And you also need to show your network that you're the best fit for them to invest. Currently, you have people that you know. They aren't working with you currently if they don't think that you're the best fit for them. They need to see that you are the best fit for them to invest. You want people to be, oh my gosh, I not only do I need this, but I know somebody who needs this and I know another person who needs this. You want to be getting referrals consistently, and that's what having a six-figure offer does. The next piece that you need is you need to master marketing. I can't tell you again how many times I go onto people's social media and I'll see their feed and I'm like, this is okay. It doesn't have much personality. I don't really know who this person is. I'm not really sure what they're offering. And I say that like in a lighthearted way. No harm, no foul. That was me too. But I didn't know how to powerfully position myself. You want to be an industry leader. If you want to hit six figures with your business, you need to stand out and make sure that people notice you. You don't want to be just another coach. People aren't buying from you need to be the best life coach for people. So what I do is I have you use my powerful positioning strategy to make you stand out in the industry. What I've done with my clients that I'm going to show you through their case studies is we take their six-figure offer and we take that and have that take their content and make their post relatable to their offer in a very simple way that makes sure that your posts convert potential clients into paid customers without a lot of back end time. So this is the part where I see a lot of people spending the majority of their time is writing posts and emails and getting all of that content out there. You actually don't want to be spending the majority of your 8-hour work week there. You want to be getting in effective, efficient, and done. You don't want to be spending a bunch of time writing posts that could or could not work. You want to make sure that you are getting paid customers in from seeing your feed. How many of you, and feel free to just do this as an internal reflection, but if you have signed a client from just your post, I want you to think about that. Most people don't. So that's why, especially at your first six figures, most people aren't going to be seeing your post and immediately signing right away because copywriting is a skill that you need to take over time. That's something that you need to focus on as your skills go on, but you need to have something going up that's a billboard like, hey, I'm open, friends, family, I'm ready, let's go. And that's what we want to be focusing on. Last but not least, you need a way to manage leads. So this is the part that I see most people sleeping on. And this is what people aren't doing the majority of, is actually engaging with people. When I talked about outdated strategies in 2020, pre-2024, a lot of times you could just post and get some people to sign up to work with you. And that was a strategy that a lot of people had. The algorithm has changed. Like, raise your hand if you've seen that shift in the algorithm where you're like, no one's seeing my posts. I'm getting way less views, way less people commenting. That is because Instagram and other forms of social media have switched to focus on actual engagement. Their goal is to keep people on the algorithm. If you're just posting, that's not keeping people on the algorithm. AI can do that just as good as you, right? It's like there are so many people that are out there that aren't going to be able to actually create conversations. And that's why you need to have a simple routine where you actually talk to people, where you get people going to the inbox. If you think about Instagram or any other social media, the algorithm and the goal is to get you to stay on the app. You got to play the game if you want to win. So you got to make sure that you're keeping people on the app. Is reading a post going to keep somebody on the app, or is actually responding to a person going to keep somebody on the app? Responding to a person. And that's why you might be getting more DMs than usual. You might be seeing more people, even at the 8-figure level, that are doing this, more of this interactive marketing. And so you need a simple tool where you can check that box for the algorithm and be like, hey, I'm a person. I'm not the robot. And I'm actually engaging with people to get people to stay on and actually stay focused on signing up with you and your coaching. And yeah, And Morgan, thank you for sharing that, talking about spending all of your time blogging and getting burned out because it's not working. Of course not. There are so many people who have blogs now. AI is making blogs like it's nobody's business. There are so many things that have shifted and that used to work. I know there was a friend of mine that had her business since 2011 and made $400,000 just from having a blog. And that's how she got all of her clients. And it was amazing and doesn't work anymore. So you've got to make sure that you never have a dead inbox. That's a huge, huge part of this. And one of the things I like to say for my clients is you can adopt the offer, taking marketing, managing leads. You can adapt these things to fit your business's needs, and you can always abandon them as needed and find different ways. But these are the three things that I would highly recommend if you want to hit six figures next year. This is what you need to be doing. And again, this hasn't just worked for me. Here are some case studies of the amazing six figure systems clients that this has actually worked for. And these are the people who have used these systems to make their businesses work. And you're going to be hearing from one of them live. So, Tricia, thank you for coming on this evening. She's going to share about her experience utilizing these systems, if you don't mind.
Hey everyone. Hi, I'm Tricia J. I'm a weight loss coach and mentor for women over 50 who want to lose over 50 pounds. And I joined Six Figure Systems because systems are my love language. I'm the ex-director of operations from a couple of big organizations. And when I went out on my own, I kind of knew that I wanted systems and things like that, but I didn't really know what I needed to be doing or tracking. And every day just felt a little bit like I was throwing spaghetti at the wall and not getting any traction. So these systems were absolutely a game changer, particularly the marketing and the managing leads. I had nothing in place to manage leads. And when it came to actually didn't really even know that was a thing. I kind of did, but I had no idea as a coach in a new business what to actually do. And so the other thing that helped as well was the marketing stuff. I went from the marketing systems. I went from, I'd post for 5 or 6 days and then I wouldn't do anything for a month. I had nothing, no systems there. And now I'm at that point where I've actually got my marketing calendar locked in for the rest of the year. And I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm posting, and I'm actually getting out ahead of it so that I can take a couple of weeks off over the Christmas break. So while I've been working with Megan, I've actually broken an 18-month consult drought and been signing clients, getting all the consults in. And I've just actually signed up for my second round because the coaching is that good. The coaching is that good. I actually get up at, you can probably hear from my accent that I'm in Australia, but I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to join the calls. So it's that good. I have so much more to say, but
Oh my
is there
goodness,
anything else I can answer for you?
No, that is amazing. And if anyone has any questions, I guess if they want to put it in the chat, if they do you feel okay to answer a couple of questions
Yeah,
if you don't mind, that'd be
absolutely.
amazing. I think that is one of the things that I also experienced, like going months without consults, breaking that. You also held your webinar, right? You were able
Yes.
to
Started
host a webinar,
webinars.
get
Yep,
people on for that. You now have a Facebook group, you've got an
I
email
do.
list, you are ready. And I think that that's like the things that people don't see is like having these systems also gives you the time to do other things in the back end of your business that you might
Absolutely.
not have time for otherwise, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And fun fact, and this is a surprise to Megan because I've just found out myself, I've actually crossed the 100K mark in my business.
Oh my God, amazing. Oh, that's so exciting. Well, I did not know that. And we are
You
celebrating
did not.
you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Oh my goodness.
Thank
Well,
you.
I'm
So thank you
actually,
for that.
of course, and I'm actually thinking about bringing in a six-figure award. That is so awesome. I'm very, very excited for you because I think it's a huge accomplishment. Most coaches never hit it in their lifetime. And I think that's a crying shame. And I wish that more coaches would. And I know that these things work. So, so proud of you. That's amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Of course. So thank you for sharing that. So marketing is huge. That is a huge piece of your business to bring in leads. But that's not the only piece. So I'm going to share about a couple of more clients that have also created these shifts. So my client Holly is another one of my clients that I wanted to share a case study with. So if you have made some money in your business, you might really resonate with Holly. She went from making 3K to 135K in her first round of six-figure systems, all through one-on-one coaching. So she just worked with people one-on-one. She didn't have a group. She didn't have a course, nothing like that. But now, because she's been able to pass the six-figure threshold, she is starting a group coaching program. And that's one of the things that's possible with systems. And she also, of course, just like Tricia was saying, like she has the marketing, but she also has the six-figure offer and she has managing leads and she has all of that kind of in well-oiled machine of her business. And the difference maker for her is she went from being HMS career coaching, which is great. It's exciting, it's like her name, you know what I mean? But for her, she had to go from HMS career coaching to the career fulfillment program. And when she was able to make that six-figure offer, that's what really shifted for her audience. She had people that were like liking, I think, had her business since 2014. She had it for a long time. And she would get a couple of likes, a couple of people working with her, and it always kind of stayed at this revenue plateau. And then when she was able to be like, I do the career fulfillment program, here's what I do, here's my offer, you should sign up. People noticed. It was like they got whiplash. They were like, oh my God. And she started booking consults at a time. I think she would have like 8 consults a week. I don't even get that many consults a week all the time. And I feel like this for her was a huge factor because then when she had a compelling six-figure offer, she was able to sell people before they even booked a call. They were like, oh, I want career fulfillment. Here are the things that Holly offers. These are the pillars of her coaching program. These are the things that I need. And she's been able to now scale it from there. So again, doesn't just work for me, it works for other people too. And last but not least, I wanted to share about Alejandra. She is in this current round of six-figure systems as well. And she has been able to sign clients. She's been able to fill webinars, and she had never done a webinar before. And she was able to fill webinars. And she was able to do that using the lead management system within her first month. So again, it doesn't need to take a long time. It's not like by May, here's where your business will be. It's like things can happen and move within the first month. Now, a lot of times people ask me, how fast will this happen for me? How fast will this work for me? And for Alejandra, she wanted to double down on her business. She was ready to take it serious. She was full time with her business as well. And she was able to double down on the lead management system and she was able to talk to more people a day. So she was able to get people in the DMs. She was able to hold a conversation. We talked about how to go through a cycle of taking someone from like, hey, I just found you to like, hey, I would like to book a consult. We went through all of that. And that's why she was able to go so quickly. So again, these systems work. How fast it works totally depends on how much you want to make it work and the effort you're ready to put in. So when you use these systems, the reason why these people, and not just these case studies, but all the clients have been able to get results is they have consistency. If you are thinking about creating a six-figure business, I want you to think about somebody who's making $100,000. You want to take them seriously. You want to focus. If you're posting and then you leave people and you don't have that consistency, people aren't going to trust you to pay you thousands of dollars. That's a lot of money in the world. I take it seriously. They take it seriously. And they want to see that you are serious enough for them to invest. So that's why you need to focus on quality ROI activities versus just quantity and throwing spaghetti at the wall. You also want to be communicating and building genuine relationships with your audience. Obviously, everyone on here is probably a lovely, amazing person. You probably are very wonderful in person. And if you can build those relationships online just as much as you would in person, that's a huge ticket to scale. And last but not least, constraint. You want to focus on your strengths. I have people focus on one social media platform at most, and then you build after you master. But why this works and why you see my clients getting results really quickly is because you don't have to manage your mind and your time around a bunch of things. I have seen people have six-figure businesses that I would never, ever wish upon anyone in their life. They are so complicated, they are hard, they are scary. There are so many moving pieces that it is just a mess. And I don't want that for you. You do not need to do that. You can have a very simple six-figure business and it's going to give you a return so you don't have to work as many hours to create the same impact and income as someone who has a really complicated business. And by having these systems in place, I want you to have easy work days. I want you to save time and energy. I don't want you to be thinking about, okay, it's Tuesday. What do I do today? Not really sure. I want you to wake up in the morning and know exactly what you need to do to scale, and you will have a simple business. And especially as a solopreneur, like pretty much everyone I work with, I only have, I think, two of my clients have ever had employees. You want to be sure it's simple because you are probably a solopreneur. And as you're a solopreneur, you don't want to make things complicated because you need to deliver consistently. The other thing that you're going to create when you have the marketing, your high value offer, and you have a lead management system, you're going to get community growth. Maybe it's going to be in followers, maybe it's going to be in your inbox, but you're going to bring in people who are ready to buy instead of just kind of like floating around with people who are like, yeah, this is nice, a nice to have. You don't want to be a nice to have. People are not spending money on nice to haves. You want to be a high, ready to buy situation. You want people to know you and they're going to be ready to work with you sooner. And again, like I mentioned, I've coached hundreds of people at this point, by the way. This has worked for hundreds of people. It's what's helped me make $663,000 plus in my business. And I know it will work for you too. So, to recap what we talked about tonight, we first started out by going over why it feels so hard to market your business right now. What are the things that are getting in the way of you actually having a back end that's simple? And then we also talked about what is the marketing system that you need to hit six figures with 8-hour work weeks. The third thing we talked about was the 3 skills it takes to make 100K: offer, marketing, managing leads, and case studies of why this works. So that is what we are talking about with this six-figure systems webinar. And I know that you might be at this point and thinking, okay, this is great. Seems nice, Megs. I would like to make six figures, but I would really also like someone to help me do this. I feel like I heard a lot of times I was like, you just need to meet more people. You just need to go in front of more people. You just need to give value, make offers. And I heard that so many times. And I was like, but how? I was like, what do I actually say in the post? What is actually going to get people to convert? And that is why I wanted to let you know that if you're looking for help creating these 3 systems instead of just kind of like keeping it in the um, idea phase, actually doing the work, that is what I would like to offer you. And I want to help you do it. So that is what we do within six-figure systems. Within my mastermind, I would make sure you get results right away. That is why actually 7 people or 10 people joined the last round of the mastermind, and 7 of them signed a client in the first month. So I don't want you waiting. I don't want you waiting to sign clients. I want it to happen as quickly as possible. And here's why I get results really quickly. You'll get feedback. So one of the things that's really important is you get a one-on-one call with me, and we are going to make your six-figure offer right away. So you're not going to be wondering, what's the timeline? How much am I offering it for? What's my pricing? You're going to get your offer right away. And every single week from 11 to 11:10 on our group calls, I wanted to make sure you don't take much time outside of the calls. You will fill out a form that lets me track your progress every single week. So I'm going to know how much money you've made, what's working, what your wins are of the week, what you need to improve, what you're going to do differently. I'm going to know how you're growing as a CEO with marketing, managing leads, not only that, but also sales and planning. I'm going to track your growth so you never regress throughout the mastermind, and you get one-on-one also support there. So if you have something that you don't want to say in front of the group, if you're like, okay, I'm shy, I don't want to raise my hand, I'm not like, I don't really want to ask for help, you will get a chance to get feedback from me personally every single week in your business. Not only that, but you're also going to get group Q&A time. So you're going to get a 2-hour call every single week to make sure that you reach your goals. For this round of the mastermind, we're going from December all the way through May. So you're going to have me finishing the fourth quarter of 2024, first quarter of 2025, all the way through pretty much the whole second quarter of 2025 to make sure that you get exactly what you need when you need it. I'm also going to teach you live. So, fun fact, I have ADHD and I have enrolled in many programs that I sit and there's there and I wait, and there are these really pretty modules and I've seen them and I know they're in this classroom somewhere, and I'm like, oh, one of these days I'm going to get to that. But I don't always get my money's worth out of the program because I don't make the time outside of the program to watch modules. I don't want you to have to do that. I make time in this mastermind. You are going to get me teaching you every system live in a new, this happened for the last round. The reason why people are signing clients so quickly is because I teach this live in a week-long intensive. I'll get into that in a second. But the week of November 18th through 22nd, you learn every single system. So you have all the systems before Thanksgiving to even get ready and learn, and everything is customized and ready for you to grow. You also get group support. So if you need me and it's 2 a.m. on a Saturday and you're like, or like you're like Tracia and you live in Australia and you're like, this time zone thing doesn't really work, but I have a question and I want you to look over my post. I need to figure out how to do this thing in Canva. What's going on this sales call? This person didn't book and I was sure that they would book. They're the perfect client and I don't know what went wrong. You can message me anytime you want and I get you feedback every single week. So before the next coaching call, unless you post something in there in the group stream that's like an hour before the call, I will give you feedback in the group. So you're going to get not only my support, but you're also going to get your peer support as well. And like I mentioned previously, there's only 2 hours a week for Q&A and coaching on your business. So when you're thinking about doing this program, I want to make sure that you do systems week, you get all the systems, and then it's not like you need to go and watch other modules. You don't need to, even doing the form is a part of the call. It's all built in. So you just come to the call, and then you're able to take the systems and implement it at your own pace. I have had clients where their house is flooded. I have had clients that have gone through breakups. I have gone, which like I did as well. I have had clients who have full-time jobs. I have clients who are full-time moms, and I have everything in between. And I want to make sure that you aren't taking a ton of extra time and that the 2 hours you take a week create at least a significant amount of growth for you to do that. And that's what we do within the calls. And then, of course, there's a community. So within the mastermind, you're going to work with amazing entrepreneurs that you can work with. You can bounce ideas off. I encourage people doing testimonial swaps. So you can be like, hey, Michelle, I want to do a testimonial swap with you. And you and Morgan could get on a call and be like, all right, here we go. Both of us are going to get on a call, coach each other for 30 minutes, and then write a testimonial or do a video really quick so that you can show other people that you get results. That's one of the things that I wanted to make sure I had in this program, and you can bounce ideas off of everybody. So if you're thinking like, okay, sounds decent, who is this program for? Now, previously, I used to coach everybody. I coached any solopreneur. And now I'm just focusing on coaches. So if you are not a coach, I would say that this is a great program. And if you go into the program knowing it, that's okay. But if you are a coach who is just starting out and needs to know how to create this foundation to use your time wisely, this is the perfect program for you. I don't care if you have not made any money in your business. This is a huge program that you're going to get everything you need. I, again, set up these systems back in 2021, and it's what's helped me scale. And I still use the exact same systems today. So not only is it took me from zero to my first amount of money, but it also is now what's taking me from six figures to multiple six figures. Coming to bullet point two. If you are a coach who's also made five figures and you're like, okay, I've made some money, I've made five figures, and I'm ready to scale to six figures, this is a perfect program for you. This is something that you definitely want to consider doing, because not only are you going to be able to get to six figures, but like Tricia, congratulations, but you're also going to be able to hit more than six figures because you're going to have the systems to scale out if you need a team. If you want to create a group coaching program, all of those things you're able to do when you have these systems in place. And of course, I can support you with that. This is also for you if you're at a revenue plateau and you want to scale without adding a bunch of things to your plate. So that's a huge thing for many of my people. A lot of times they're like, "Oh, I would like to scale, but I also would like to go to Paris and I would like to go and do these kind of things without having to make my business super crazy on the back end." This is a great program for you. And like I mentioned, many of my clients are mothers and all parents. They also have jobs. They are working part-time, full-time jobs. Need to make sure that these systems work for them in a timely manner so that they can actually like live their life, or both. Maybe you're a parent and you have a full-time job. This is a perfect thing to do to make the systems fit your schedule. Now, I talked about the 8-hour work week, and so typically it'll be around 8 hours. But if you don't have 8 hours, if you're like, I can't even get 8 hours in, I customize the calendar to fit your needs. So it's like, okay, I have 10 hours to build a coaching business. I'm like, okay, with that time, here's what we can do. Let's get to work. Let's make sure we get this in place. And I can definitely make sure that things are customized to fit your business's needs. And how we do that, like I mentioned, is through our coaching calls. Now, the typical coaching calls will start in December. The dates are wrong. Systems Week is actually going to be, I'm just going to put that right here. Systems Week is now going to be from November 18th through 22nd. So if you are interested, make sure you're marking your calendars. And it's going to be from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern. So make sure that if you are like, I want to get these systems in, you're obviously going to have replays. Most of you guys have lives outside of 9 to 11 and might have trips planned, might have other things going on. You can get the replays, of course, and you're going to get everything you need Monday through Friday. And then I'm going to release the Kraken, and then you will be a part of the regular group so that you can make sure that you have everything you need. Now, during that systems week, what are you going to get? So Monday, we're going to talk about your six-figure offer. Book a one-on-one call before that, and we're going to cover it here so you can submit your code offer ahead of time. You're also going to learn how to do clear and confident marketing, that powerful positioning protocol where you learn how to make a content calendar. You're going to get that calendar on Tuesday, and we can customize it to fit your business's needs. And if we don't get a chance to do that on that call during the 2 hours a week call, I'll pull up a client and I'll be like, oh, Elizabeth, go ahead and pull up your calendar, and we fill in everything live on the calls so that you are ready to roll. You also sales convert. On Wednesday, you're going to be able to create a routine around your sales calls that gives you higher sales conversion. So you don't have to worry about, okay, how am I going to convert this person on a consult? It is all going to be ready, and you're going to have a process that converts people right from there. Also, can you guys still hear me? I just got a message that my mic is breaking up. Hopefully. If not, I will switch my mic over. But in any event, you want to make sure that you also get the sales conversion. You then want to create a lead management protocol. So you want to make sure that you know how you're bringing in leads, that you have a very simple system to, again, talk to as many people as possible to make it statistically inevitable that you succeed. And last but not least, you want to have a way that you are doing planning and metric tracking so that your business has no choice but to grow. Okay,
So no worry. Okay, yeah. So I was like, oh, amazing, Christine. I saw that you said that, and I'm glad I just switched my mic over to a different one. So hopefully that will be a little bit better. And I saw a couple of questions really quick that I wanted to hit. So so glad to have you. What is the marketing system we went over? The powerful positioning strategy. It's a content calendar that you'll create based on your six-figure offer that has you take 3 posts and convert it, if you would like to 3 reels a week. So you get 6 items on your feed without missing a beat every single week. Great question. And then Morgan said, I'm not sure what you meant by a routine that nurtures your audience and brings in new people. When we're thinking about the routine that creates that, I have a system where you talk to 10 people a day. Again, customized to fit your calendar. And you're going to be able to talk to 10 people a day, which if you do that Monday through Friday, just 5 days a week, that results in, and if you do that for like 30 minutes a day, for 30 minutes a day, you could have 2,500 conversations a year. This is what I talk about making things statistically inevitable. If let's say your offer is $2,000 and you have a $2,000 coaching program, if you just convert 2% of 2,500 conversations, you have an 104K business. So like I said, I make it really easy for you. It's simple. It's not necessarily easy, but I make it simple for you to scale. So of course, now, if you're looking for this direction, clarity, if you're like, who do I talk to for 2,500 conversations? Who am I actually talking to? If you want clarity to be like, what do I actually post in this marketing calendar? And if you want my strategy, I would love to help work with you to help you create what I call your 6-figure formula. So if you, again, want to scan up here, there's a link to my Linktree and you can get started right away. And when we are actually meeting during the mastermind, it's going to be on Wednesdays from 1 to 11 p.m. Eastern for 6 months. And that's going to go from December all the way through May. So I want you to think about, where do you want to be by May? Where do you want your business to be? It's going to be about to start summer. What do you want your business to look like? How much money do you want to say you've made? How many people do you want to be coaching? That is what I want to support you with. And I want you to know that 6 months from now, if you want to be going to Paris with your grandmother, just because that was my experience this year, while also running a multiple 6-figure business, this is absolutely possible for you. And my sweet client, Teresia, she founded the 3-month life transformation. And within her first round of 6-figure systems, she was actually, if you were some of the part-timers, I was looking back at the chat a little bit, many of you are part-timers. She was able to go from part-time to full-time, left her full-time job as I think she was an NP, a nurse practitioner. And she was able to leave being a nurse practitioner and start her coaching business full-time. And she's been able to sign clients, do webinars. And the other thing that she mentioned in her testimonial is that she's just feeling so confident that if somebody comes up to her in the street, she knows that she can say, I'm a life coach, I can help you, and knows exactly how to funnel them into working with her, which has been pretty amazing. She actually, one of the clients that she signed was one of her last patients that she worked with as a nurse practitioner, which is pretty cool. So of course, I know you guys are probably wondering, what is the investment for this? And I want you to know that it's $850 a month. So if you're thinking about doing this, $850 a month to scale to 6 figures. And if you break that out for the 6 installments, it would be $5,100. Or if it works better for your taxes, you can also do a pay in full for $5K. And last but not least, I wanted to finish with Amber. Amber Abila was able to found the Confident Eater program. She actually worked with me for the first round of 6-figure systems and then signed up again. And she was able to scale to her first 5-figure months. So if that's something that you haven't done yet, if you haven't seen 10K in October, she was able to do that. She was also raised her prices. So she had started out and feeling like a little like, I'm not sure how much I can really charge. I'm not really sure if I feel confident about this. She was able to even raise her prices. And now she has a group coaching program, all because we were working together. So I think that this is another important thing for you to think about. And just another fun thing, if you are ready to really be serious about your business and you are like, hey, Megs, I want to sign up right now. I am doing a bonus, a 24-hour bonus. So it's like a little bit more than 24 hours. But if you sign up by tomorrow at midnight, I'm going to give you a bonus call. So on top of our 6-figure call where we make your offer, I'm going to teach you and make you a 2 times your income plan. So we're going to sit down and I'm going to take you through. You're going to tell me how many clients you've signed, how much money you've made so far, where they came from. I've got a whole spreadsheet for you to pull up. And then we're going to do this bonus call as soon as possible. So this, if you want to sign up before midnight, either doing the payment plan or pay in full, you are able to get this bonus call and we're going to 2 times your income, which is something new this year. So thank you all for signing up. I want to see if you have any questions, and I'm going to pull up some common questions that I have had from many people. Are there any questions right away? I'm going to pull back in the stream and see. Okay, full-time, part-time. Are there any other questions about how to have a 6-figure business this year? It is more simple than you think. Nilo, how do you go about coaching us if we have not made any money in our business? Nilo, so many people are where you're at. Thank you so much for saying, like announcing that. And for you, one of the things that I would do is I would start with my winning strategy. What I did to make my 6 figures, I would teach you the exact things that I did so that you don't have to go through any guesswork. I'm going to give you the exact process I went through, and we're going to actually take a look at your calendar and we're going to be like, okay, in December, this is what Nila's going to do. Then in January, February, March, and we're going to map it out so you know what to do every single month. If you haven't made any money, we're going to utilize every single thing that I've got and we're going to help you make money right away. So that's going to be pretty helpful for you. Let me know if that makes sense. Amazing. Christine, of course, anytime. Okay, question. Did you mention that this program is a business expense? I have not. So yes, this is a business expense. This counts as an educational expense. And I have a form that I can fill out for your accountant to say, hey, this is something I invested in. And when you make an investment on your business, when you're thinking about signing up for something like this, what happens is you're able to get a tax deduction. So instead of, let's say, if you make 20K and you spend 5K on this, instead of getting taxed at the 20K tax bracket, you get taxed at the 15K tax bracket, which is actually significantly less. Because a lot of times governments want to give us tax breaks in order to fuel the economy because you are a business owner that is fueling the economy, and that is what people do. So yes, it is a tax, it's an expense and it is a tax deduction. So if you want to break up, sometimes I've had people say, ooh, it's better for me to get a 5K all in this year. Let me do the flip pay in full. Some other people are like, ooh, it's better for me to do $850 this year. And then I do the other payments next year. And that's also, you're able to do that. Okay, A, still on social media, do you recommend a mix of stories, reels, and carousels? Is there a format I found works best? So A, this is what I found, is that when I do a mix of stories and reels and posts, it is a magic strategy. So what I found happens is there are people that are a good fit for your offer and they just consume content in a different way. So you might have the people who want the instant, like quick content, that's the reels, the TikTok people. Those are YouTube shorts. They just want to see something quick, something fast, something that they're like, oh, I get some value from this and move forward. So that's the first piece. You're going to be able to you want to make sure you're producing content for those people. Then there are other people who are more the long-term content people. These are people who want to read a post. They might be the bloggers. They might want to see a longer video potentially where they might need something that's a little bit more meaty for you to work with people. So when you're thinking about that, what happens is you also want to be producing content that works for those people. And what I like to do is I like to do both. So I have the short form and long form content. And I take both of those and I repurpose them. And I repost them on my stories. So that is something that's really important. And I'm going to say something wrong. And so I just want to make sure that I remember exactly what this is. But if on average, it takes around 7 hours. Yeah, so there's a 7 hour rule where it says people typically on average need 7 hours of content in order. I was like, okay, I did get that right. I just looked it up. People on average need 7 hours of content in order to actually book a consult with you. So you want to make sure that you're actually converting those people and making sure you're engaging with people as well. And then also from that, you talked about like different forms of content. So 11 different touch points, making sure that you are talking to them, making sure you're actually having contact with them. And then in 4 separate locations. So that might be they see a reel, they see a post, they see a story, and they get a DM from you. But that is what I also provide as well. And I talk to you, okay, what do you actually say in these posts? What are you actually having in those reels? And how to make it convert? Really good question. Okay, for the 6-figure offer, do you require you to take a new one or enhance the one you have? Such a good question. Nilo, I'm pretty sure that you work with women who want to take action, who are perfectionists that are ready to like get moving. I remember that being something that you also talked about. And again, totally probably butchered that. We talked about niches at the beginning, and I totally forget what your offer is currently. I would help you tweak the offer that you have. So we would go through and we would take a look at it and be like, okay, overcome procrastination for good. I know that we've talked about this like a million times, but that is what I would have you do is I would take that overcoming procrastination for good and I would have you break that down into what I call pillars. So I'd be like, okay, if somebody works with you, let's say for 3, 4, 6 months, what do they actually get as a return? I think a lot of times people think, okay, like my offer is just working with me for a short period of time. And they actually want to see, okay, if I'm spending thousands of dollars with you, am I going to make it worth it? How much am I going to get as a return? Are we going to be able to, like when I was thinking about my offer, will I actually create more confidence? If I create more confidence, what will that create in my life? If they're thinking about overcoming, yes, pillars. That's why I like to break it down with. So within your overcoming procrastination, how is that going to help them make more money, save more time, and live a better life? And you can think about that with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You want to make sure that you are producing something that is high demand. I think a lot of times people don't always budget for coaching. That, like for me, for instance, I wasn't like, oh, I have to work with a coach. I'm going to budget for it. It was something that was an additional expense that I wasn't really expecting when I first started getting general coaching myself, because I got coached before I actually became a coach. And I needed to have something that was super compelling, something that I really, really wanted in order for me to buy. So that was what was really awesome. Courtney, yes. Okay. If you're clear on your offer and clear on how to help people, will the one-on-one call still be helpful? For sure. So what you could do is you could save up that call and we could go through the call pretty quickly. I've had a lot of clients have that recently where they're like, I know my timeline, know my pricing. We just need to break out the pillars, and they actually do the pillars ahead of time. So I would give you the offer information. You could even start plugging and chugging things so that when we get onto that one-on-one call, we can fly through that, give you a couple tweaks, and then we can talk about other things that you need to do to grow your business. So that would be what I would recommend highly for you as well, is that like, don't just use that hour-long call for nothing. I want you to be able to not only get what you need from that one-on-one call, but I also want you to be able to be like, okay, I'm not just making my offer, I'm doing all the different things. Such a great question. And if any of you are thinking about booking, I'm just going to put the link to sign up in the chat if you would like to sign up to make sure you get that double your offer call. Here are some other coaching questions that I had. Is what I found is a lot of times people were asking like, what makes this different? In fact, I just had a consult today and he's actually already in a business coaching program. And he was like, okay, this is great, but I've already invested in this other program. What makes this different? And so I think that for you, if you're considering, if you are in other programs, that's totally fine. And one thing that I've found is that the majority of other coaching programs that teach you how to run your business typically focus on one aspect. So they're focusing on sales and consults. They might be focusing on marketing. They might be focusing on creating delivery and actually like coaching your clients. What we do in the Six Figure Systems Mastermind is we focus on everything. So I like to think of it as like a one-stop shop where you don't have to work on different things. You're able to get everything that you need in one program, so you don't have to invest in a bunch of different things. Also, mindset support. Every single week, you can tell me your mindset struggles, and I'm also going to be able to support you, which is great. One of the other questions I got is that another person was saying that they didn't have access to the coach. So they were like, okay, I signed up for this program. This has happened to me before too. They were like, I was so excited. I really like the person who I signed up with. And then I was actually working with somebody else. They had different client coaches that were giving them feedback, or they weren't getting feedback at all one-on-one. It was more so just in the group arena where it was kind of a free-for-all. And within this program, it's all one-on-one with me. Currently, I actually don't have any other co-coaches. That is something that will be changing in the future, but right now it is just me. So when you are getting some feedback on your form, in the group call, in your on the coaching calls even, it is going to be me unless I am out for some reason. But I'm going to be giving you feedback the whole time. And the guest coaches I have are pretty amazing. So if I'm ever out of town for a week, you get their support as well. Like I mentioned, I kind of hit this earlier, but it was the one-on-one call is with me. And the reason why I do this is I've had programs where I spend, if I'm getting coached, I have to give them my backstory every time that we coach. And I'm like, okay, here's who I coach, here's my offer, here's what's going on, here's all the things. And they don't know me. So it's like, okay, well, have you tried this? And I'm like, well, I tried this last week and I actually got coached on this by a different coach, but that's okay. I'm going to get you caught up. And it was kind of like, they didn't know who I was, of course. And that's totally fine for their business models, but that's not what happens in Six Figure Systems. Within Six Figure Systems, you're actually getting me. I know your business. I'll know how many clients you have. I'll know how much money you made. So you're going to get everything live. The other thing that someone was asking is like, do I have to look up other modules? So like, again, like I mentioned, I have been a part of amazing coaching programs and ADHD and all. I'm like, oh, I'll put that off till later. I'm just not gonna like, I'll schedule time to watch it, but it'll be like while I'm doing the dishes and I'll be like listening to it while I'm driving. I don't know if anyone else is like that either, but I want to make sure you get all those things on the calls. So I make sure that you get that as well. Yeah. Oh, and I also watch it. Yeah. So Tracy had mentioned that I watch the guest coaching. So there's no break. So if like, let's say my amazing friend Janae comes on and coaches, I know exactly what she coached you on. I know what kind of feedback she gave you, and then I can pick it up from there. Is the group small enough that everyone will get a little individualized coaching every week? So far, I've gotten through everyone that raises their hand every week. And the group, I think, I'm guessing, will not get bigger than 35. Currently, there are 13 people in the group. And within that, I found that that's a small enough container. I mentioned I used to be a teacher, and I taught groups of 42 kids online in the pandemic. And I know if I can get them results, I know I can get adults results for sure and make sure I hit every single one of you on those calls. So definitely, if you've got questions, I've got you. And if you don't get coached for some reason, if you just post a question in the stream, I will give you video feedback. I will give you written feedback. I will make sure you get everything that you need, even if it's like watching a webinar or like watching, I've done that before for clients, reading emails in a sales funnel, going over if you decide that you want to talk to other businesses and pitch your program and talk about different things that you offer to them. I can do that too. And Tracy said I've been coached almost every time I want it, which is every week. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. Because I think that people wonder that. They're like, oh, I don't know. But yeah, that's definitely why it works. Another thing I had someone say is they were like, okay, this sounds great, but how much time do I really need to make it work? And I will say, if you just show up 2 weeks and you talk to me virtually and you also communicate live, when you show up, you're going to get things done. And one of the things that I will do is on the call, like I mentioned before when I was talking to A, is like I will literally pull up somebody's marketing calendar and I will be like, okay, Susan, let's make your marketing calendar for the entire month of January. Let's go. And I will help them make it within 15 minutes. So then all you have to do outside of the call is application, not actually thinking about what I'm actually doing and actually getting things done. And one of the things that I've also found is like it's really hard to make 2 hours a week happen. And one of the things that I found is that the streamlined six-figure systems don't require a lot of time for execution. And if you're struggling to find just 2 hours a week, these systems are very important. Then you need these systems more than anybody. It's like if you don't have time to meditate, you need to meditate more. This is the kind of thing where if you don't have time, you really need these systems more than anyone else so that you can make more in less time. Yes, all live. Amazing. And so here's just a couple of other questions I've gotten. A lot of times people invest in other coaching programs that I'm not their first most of the time, or they've done certifications and they're like, how do I ensure this actually works? Like, I want to make sure that by May of 2025, this actually worked for me. I actually got the results. I got it, everything I needed. And I ensure that. I actually do a money back guarantee. So if you show up for 70% of the calls and you just submit the form that I give you time to do on the call weekly, I give you your money back. Because I know that if you're filling out the form and actually doing what I'm telling you to do every single week, there is no way that you don't succeed. Now, success, it comes in waves. So there are some people that have 15,000 followers. There are other people who don't have a social media presence at all. Depending on your circumstances, they'll differ. However, we only can focus on what we can control. And I have had people who have gone from zero social media presence at all to signing 3 clients just because they were like, yep, I'm tenacious. Let's go. Let's get ready for it. So that's one of the most important things is like making sure you get things done. Yeah, you won't want your money back. Amazing. Oh, Casey, I love you. If you can't come live, of course, every single call will be recorded. So one of the things that I found is that I hope that there's never a 6-month stint in your business or your life that you are just focusing on your business. Most of us, we're going to have lives. We're going to be able to go on trips. You're going to be able to go and do things that are enjoyable. There's also the aspect that there might be some unforeseen circumstances. Like I mentioned, one of my clients, her daughter was sick. And so she was like, oh, I've got to miss a week. No worries at all. You will still have access to me. I will still read your form. You'll still get everything that you need. I'm trying to read. How accessible will you be to me? You're going to get my feedback on the individual responses every single week in the form. And then you're also going to get every single week, if you post something in the stream, I will give you feedback. So by the following call, if we go Wednesday to Wednesday, you're not going to have any months that you go without growing. You're not going to have multiple weeks. It is going to be a week that you will get your feedback. And again, if I'm super busy, that's the biggest thing I get is that, like, I'm super busy. Am I still going to get what I need? And if you're serious about having a 100K business, if you really want to make a 6-figure business, of course, things are going to come up. That doesn't mean that you need to stop believing in the fact that you're going to make 6 figures. You just need to make sure that you have systems in place to stay consistent throughout that. So within that, if I don't see you're going to get weekly emails that say, hey, here's the link to join the call, making sure that you're invited. And if I don't hear from you for a full month, that's happened before, I'll reach out to you and be like, hey, I hope everything's okay. One of my clients ended up moving across the country and she's a single parent. She's actually a widow. So within that, she was like, hey, things were crazy. I have 3 kids. There's a lot going on. And I was like, don't even worry about it. I'm going to make sure that you get everything that you need. And if you don't reach out, I'll be like, hey, are you still alive? And all I ask that in return is you just like message me and we keep open communication. And JC says, I get comments on my form every week. coaching every week and answers in the stream when you post them. So that is definitely what you get. I think that is it. Are there any other questions for people? Thank you guys for staying on a little bit later. Also, I appreciate you taking your Monday. I know that this is a valuable amount of time for you. So if you are interested in working with me, if you have any other questions, please, please, please reach out to me. I am more than happy to help you. If you want to do that double your income bonus, I would love to have you making that money back ahead of time. Actually, someone just enrolled in the mastermind like 12 minutes before our call started. And so I made sure I sent the information over to them. So definitely make sure you get those enrollments in. And I cannot wait to see you all there soon. Have a wonderful week, everybody, and I'll hopefully be seeing you guys soon.